That's true. Naked Palpatine.
Oh, you pick that one. Fresh out of the clone tank, nude Palpatine is my
Well, that's the first thing I think of when you say Dark Empire Palpatine. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe, now redubbed by Disney or Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it, Legends. So today I have for you a short story, and just a short story, and then I'm going to be taking a small break from the Star Wars Expanded Universe to read a trilogy of novels in the Dune universe, and then I'll come right on back with a whole bunch of new Jedi Order reviews, I promise. But yeah, before I get into the short story, there's a comic in Tales number 18 called Revenants, something like that, I forget. But I don't know exactly where you would place this, but it's another thing like the Tales from the Bounty Hunter story where Boba Fett is tracking down Han, which again doesn't make a lot of sense because Han should be grieving right now. But it has to be said a little bit early because Han finds out it wasn't just Boba Fett, it's actually tons of Mandalorians that were chasing Han around, and it was more of practice for his Mandos, because he's now Mandalore, and he says the Vong are coming, we gotta prepare, something like that. This might be non-canon, it's not explicitly contradictory, I just don't know where you would exactly fit this little story, but that's something you would read around here, I guess. Then we have, by Karen Traviss, this was originally in the back end of Sacrifice, a Legacy of the Force novel, but chronologically the story takes place around here, which is Boba Fett, A Practical Man, by Karen Traviss. I think this is an absolutely great little story. I mean, is it the greatest thing ever since sliced bread? No. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I've read a lot worse in the adventure journals, where the stories are just like so boring and bland. But this was actually pretty decent. I think Karen Traviss is a great author. I think she does a great job with this. I only have a couple gripes. There's a Verge quote at the very beginning. And she does this thing where there's like this three-edged sword. It's the Jedi, the Sith, and the Mandalorians. And it was just stupid. But, you know. Boba is now Mandalore, which is really cool that he's finally developing as a character and moving forward. Especially because at the end of Unifying Force, he just kind of pops up and helps out Han, and there's no real big explanation for it. To see a little bit more of him here is good. Nominor is Mando hiring because he'd rather have them on his side than against. And there's a lot of interesting discussions between him and Fett, and just Nominor's internal monologues about what the Mandalorians are and what they, stuff, and that's all fun. Goran Bevan is this Mandalorian who's like second in command or follows Fett around and obeys him. Nothing particular to note. He's fine. He's definitely Travis's mouthpiece to talk about how great the Mandalorians are and all that, and their customs and their beliefs. But it's okay. It's fine. I mean, I would expect a Mandalorian to talk that way. So it'd be weird if it was like Luke or something. But for this guy, this original character, it makes sense to me. I don't have any issues with it. The only thing to know, I guess, about him is that in Legacy of the Force books, we found out that he's gay. So if you care about that sort of thing, he's gay. So, inclusivity. He's got like a husband and then a kid in the Legacy of the Force books. But yeah, Boba Fett kind of really, because Boba Fett's always been about like highest bidder, get the job done, do all that, but he realizes with the Vong, like, they are a threat unlike any other. Even with the Empire, he can be short of structure and paid work. With the Vong, life as they know it will never be the same. So he decides to play double agent. He's going to work for the Vong, because if he doesn't, they're immediately going to destroy Mandalore, the planet, and he doesn't want that to happen. So he's playing the long game, being a double agent. He's going to actually help out the Republic while having to kill some of their men to keep the Vong satisfied. But he's also going to leave them information stuff, little by little, as much as he can, so he can help destabilize the Vong and destroy them. And that's pretty much it. It's a pretty decent little story. I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the sections with Nominor and inside of his head. I enjoyed getting to see more of Boba Fett, what was going on in his head. Him getting horrified even by the Vong. Boba Fett is supposed to be this staunch, unafraid of anything Boba Fett, but even he kind of gets unnerved with the Vong and their whole belief systems and their practices. He's like, I'm a Mandalorian, I'm Boba Fett, I'm the greatest bounty hunter. I can endure pain, like a lot of pain, but the Vong don't only endure it, they get pleasure out of it. They love it. And that's just wrong. And so stuff like that's really fun to see and interesting. And I just think that Karen Travis did a great job with it. I think it's a great little short story that takes place during New Jedi Order. So I do think it's worth your time. You know, if you buy Sacrifice, if you are okay with Legacy of the Force, it will be in the back of that issue. But you can also buy it as an ebook separately on Kindle if you don't want anything to do with post New Jedi Order, and if Unifying Force is your end. I still think you could read this. It's still pretty good. I enjoyed it. It doesn't contradict New Jedi Order or anything. Doesn't really bring up anything that will go on past New Jedi Order. So it's a fine little story that you can read, you know, in between Vector Prime and the next book in the series. And I do think it's worth your time. Alright guys, a shorter one for today, but I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give a thumbs up. Sharing helps out a ton. And I will see you when we next return to New Jedi Order, which will be a little bit. I'm going to take a small break, going to read a Dune trilogy, and then I'll be back in full throttle with the 2 stackable books, and then move on from there. So I'll see you guys then. Until next time, may the Force be with you. Bye-bye.